Hopefully you found the right video. This is where we're going to pick back up. So now we're doing the PowerPoint notes. If you want to go ahead and get your note sheet out, that would be great. I'm not going to go through this in detail. I am going to kind of quickly go through this. I'm not going to talk about it a lot because I really want you to practice this by doing it. And I will explain more about how the process works as you're doing your worksheets. So these are our key terms for the unit. We're not going to be doing all of these today. We're just going to be doing the first 4. Again, we've talked about what a mole is. It's just a really big number. If you're interested in any of the facts there, you can pause the video and read those. We've already talked about the molar mass. That was what we did in the warm-up. So the molar mass of carbon is 12.01 grams per mole. So 12.01 comes straight from the periodic table. The only thing that we're doing is putting 12.01 grams per mole. And that's going to go for all of these. Same for any compounds that we have. So H2O, so we have 2 hydrogens, so we're not just going to put 1.1. We're going to have to do 1.1 times 2 to give us H2. So that's 2 times 1.01. If this were 3, it would be 3 times 1.01. But 2 hydrogens, so 2 times 1.01. And then we're going to add that to our mass of oxygen. And that gives us 18.02 grams per mole. Again, this is going to be the same way. I'm not going to go over that one. If you are curious, you can pause and work that one out on your own. Same for this. We're just going to have to add up each of these elements, find the mass on the periodic table, and you're going to add them up. And that's where we get this right here. The only thing that's different is instead of 84.01 grams, we have 84.01 grams per mole. So now we're going to have to do a little bit of conversions. So let's say that it gives us 26 grams of carbon, but it wants us to know how many moles there are. So the first thing we do is we find our grams of carbon on the periodic table. On the periodic table, carbon weighs 12.01 grams. So I would write this out to the side. So the way you set this up, you have 26 grams, so we're going to put that first. We need to cancel out grams. We need to have moles. So in order to cancel out grams, we have to put grams on the bottom. So 26 grams of carbon here is on top. We put 12 grams of carbon on the bottom. That's coming from the periodic table. And 1 mole is at the top. Now, why is it 1 mole? Right here is there's an imaginary 1. So 1 mole of carbon. If it said 2 moles of carbon, or if it had a 2 right here, that would be 2 moles of carbon. But there's no number, so we're going to say it's a 1. So 1 mole of carbon. So all you do is you're going to multiply the top, multiply the bottom, and then divide them. So 26 times 1 gives us 26. There's no number here, so we're just going to use this number. So then we do 26 divided by 12, and that gives us 2.2 moles of carbon. This is dealing with molecules. So remember, molecules is that 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. 1 mole is equal to 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. So this is going to be worked out the same way. It gives us 2 moles, or 2.5 moles. We need to cancel out moles. We need to be left with molecules. So we're going to have to put mole on the bottom. So 1 mole is equal to 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. So 2.5 cancels out top and bottom, and then 6.02 is on the top. So we work it out the same way as before. You multiply the top, you multiply the bottom, and then you divide the two numbers. So 2.5 times 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd, divide that by 1, and you get this number here. Now, I have posted another video on Google Classroom that teaches you how to put this in your calculator. If you can't figure out how to put this in your calculator, go and watch that video. This is a good practice to see if you can do it. So if you want to pause the video and do 2.50 times 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd and see if you get this number. If you don't get this number, I recommend going and watching that video. This is essentially the same thing. I'm going to skip this one. We don't need this yet. Then we go into molarity. We only have a couple of problems with molarity. It's very simple as well. So what is molarity? So this is what a molarity is. So 2 molar of HCl. So molar, that's kind of like a concentration. So what would that look like? So molarity, or molar, is mole over liter. So if I say I have 2 molar of hydrochloric acid, that's just saying that I have 2 moles of hydrochloric acid over 1 liter. So if we were to solve that, let's say we have something like this. Let's say how many, well, we're going to skip this one too. We'll come back to this later. We're going to skip this one too. So this is where we're going to leave off on the PowerPoint. There is a couple of problems that deal with this. We'll go over that when we get to the worksheets. So now I want you to go ahead. This video is going to end. I want you to pick up worksheet number 1. So molar mass worksheet is what you're going to pick up. The next video will pick up with this worksheet.